Hey there, everybody, and welcome to episode number 2 of Grizzled VD Podcast. Today we are doing the AEW NXT Wednesday Night War review from October 23rd, 2019. Thank you very much for listening. I really do appreciate it. It was awesome to get a first show out there, get kind of, you know, the jitters out of the way. I've been thinking about doing a podcast for a very long time, and this was an opportunity for me to conquer my fear, just get it out there, start doing things, and see what the response is. And so far, it's been pretty awesome. So I'm going to continue to do it like this for this week and probably next week, and then we're going to launch into a traditional podcasting format where we're going to get everything out through an RSS feed. It'll be available everywhere that you find your podcasts, on iTunes and Stitcher, and all of that good stuff. We do have a sponsor for today, which is awesome. By episode 2, we've already got some sponsorship, but it's the iggyshop.com. It is a health and fitness warehouse outlet that sells they got tons of stuff on this website so far that I've seen. I've seen heart rate monitors and blood pressure monitors that sync up with your Bluetooth. There's a treadmill for sale on there for $160, which is like mind blowing to me. For anybody that's looking for exercise at home in a small space, this thing looked awesome. The thing that I got was a stainless steel protein shaker. I like to use a stainless steel one because I like to put some essential oils in my protein shake, a little bit of peppermint. I can't give away all my secrets, but a stainless steel shaker cup is pretty badass because it allows me to add whatever I want to it. I don't have to worry about any of the BPAs or any of that stuff. So go check it out, the iggyshop.com. They're our first sponsor, and it's awesome, so check it out. All right, let's get into the recap. So my immediate reaction after watching both shows is how awesome the AEW show was. From top to bottom, absolutely fantastic show. There's not really too much in there that I'm going to break down and be negative about because everything was fast moving. I was into everything that was going on. It was a breeze to get through the 2 hours. But you can only watch one live, and especially if I'm going to do a review, I got to be able to focus on one and then focus on the other one. So I watched my AEW last night. I was pretty tired when it was over, hit the sack, woke up this morning, and the first place that I could find NXT was on the USA app. So I logged into the USA app and I put on my NXT and watched it from there. So first, we'll go through the AEW show since that's the one that I watched first, and give you, I don't know what to call these things. If they're supposed to be a recap or if it's supposed to be a review or results. I don't know. There's stuff that I miss. I get some different perspective on things. It's going to be totally up to you guys what you decide to call it. But I guess it's a recap, review, all that stuff. So the show started out, AEW started with both tag teams in the ring for the tag team tournament. TV shows in professional wrestling haven't started like that traditionally, which was awesome. Ready to go right away. And it was the Lucha Brothers versus Private Party, which, if you've been watching and paying attention, it was going to be a aerial showcase, high impact maneuvers. The crowd was pretty hot. The psychology behind it is something that's evolving. I think the ideas for how these guys put these matches together, and it's really been revolutionized by the Bucks and even the Lucha Brothers themselves. But when we get into Private Party being added to that mix and SCU adds to that mix, there's so many different elements in this tag team division at AEW. It's pretty fantastic. The crazy spots to start off with. The showcase first off was with Private Party, so that they got all their moves in first. They got the crowd hot. Then it was time for the Lucha Bros to do their stuff. It was a great back and forth showcase of everybody's abilities and what they're good at, and all that stuff. I can't get past when Pentagon or Penta, whatever he goes by there, does the Zero Miedo. I have to say it out loud every time. I think it's so badass and so catchy. So the Lucha Brothers win. Private Party didn't lose anything as far as their stake in the company by losing this match. It was absolutely fantastic. Great way to start off the show. I can't imagine anybody started off watching that match and started flipping back and forth to another show. So it's a great way to go. The next match that they had was the Dark Order versus SCU. I've been really struggling to get behind the Dark Order. I just don't know what it's all about. I've seen some of the Super Smash Brothers. I'm a tag team wrestler myself, so I have watched some of their stuff. But the Dark Order is a completely different idea from what they were doing before. So, it was a good match. Started out well. It was great to see Scorpio Sky and Kazarian in there. They've only tagged together, it said 8 times, which is crazy. But the team of Kazarian and Daniels has been champions all over the world, so that's why we got Scorpio in there to change it up a little bit. It was starting out good. The match was good. And then all of a sudden, the Inner Circle walked through the crowd, and you could literally watch every single person just stand up and stare at these dudes while they were walking up the stairs, going up, showing their tickets off, going to their private box to watch the show. Dark Order was just kind of doing simple moves while this was going on, not trying to do anything that was going to cause everybody to miss it. But it's super hard to be in the ring as a performer and have a distraction that was planned to come out there and do their thing. It's going to take away from everything that you're doing. You're just trying to ride through the distraction and then get back to business. Great finishing sequence in the match. SCU wins, which was not really a huge surprise considering the Lucha Brothers attacked Daniels last week. So that's how we're going to get our finals. Next week, it's SCU versus the Lucha Brothers. The next match, Omega versus Janela. It was so good as a hardcore match, a street fight or whatever it was on the YouTube AEW Dark Show. So now we have, might as well put it on TV and see how we do. It was really a match to me so that we could start to really see what all of the hype is about for Kenny Omega, what he's been internationally, and he needs to prove that on a national level here in America. You can't always assume that everybody knows who Kenny Omega is, knows what his background is, and all of those good things that he brings to the table. You can't assume that everybody knows all about that. So, I don't know if they've put him in some high profile situations. They've run some angles on being the elite show. They're really trying to find a spot so that he stands out as a top guy. This match did that. Janela delivered. Janela did everything that he was supposed to do in that match to make sure that Omega looked like the star, and he was a star himself. It was pretty fantastic. Omega wins with one hell of a V trigger right on the ropes. Janela sold it like he was completely unconscious, and then he threw him up in the one-winged angel. Got the pin, 1, 2, 3. Omega celebrates. It was pretty cool. Cody comes out, says he has a major career life-changing announcement, and all of a sudden that Inner Circle that's up top has something to say about it. So they go back and forth. Cody brings out all of his crew that's there to help him. You got MJF, you got DDP, and you got his brother, Dustin. Then they march through the crowd. Jericho doing his best. Don't take another step. All right, now don't take another step. Don't take another step. And then they locked the door up on the private suite. Cody took MJF's scarf, wrapped it around his hand, punched through the window, and they just started beating the shit out of each other. And they threw Cody threw Chris on the Dippin' Dots, which is a huge pop. It was a good little brawl. I think that match is going to be something that we all want to see. It's going to be pretty awesome. Now the third tag match on the show, we got the Bucks versus the Best Friends. Super kick party all around. It started off with Orange Cassidy doing his super kicks to the shin, the sweet shin music spot that he's, gotten very known for. Then Bucks double super kicked him. Best Friends got angry. Back and forth match. And the Bucks finally win. It was, that sequence that they do where they do the finishing where it's the roll and the moonsault and all that. These guys are just on point. Their timing is fantastic. Even when all the pressure in the world's on them, they don't act like all the pressure in the world's on them. So, it was great. Britt Baker, she had a package that came up. We saw just kind of like highlights of who she is, but we don't really know what she's about other than that she's a dentist. I don't know if anybody knows that she's a dentist. They should really mention that in commentary sometime, being facetious, because they hammer you over the head with it. And they also shit on everybody else that's ever been a doctor in wrestling, telling them that all the other doctors were fake. But Dr. Jerry Graham was not fake, just so you guys know. Britt Baker had the best match to date as far as I've seen on AEW against Jamie Hayter. They called her a newcomer. I feel like everybody's a newcomer. It's a really weird way to depict somebody. This women's division is only about 3 weeks old, so calling her a newcomer, interesting choice, but she did a hell of a job. Brought the best out of Britt Baker. Britt brought the best out in her. It was a great little match. Britt gets the victory in her hometown of Britsburg, which we heard 1,000 times. And I don't know if you know this or not, but she is a dentist. Then we had Pac, whatever he wants to be called, versus Mox. Started out hot. Pac was just like crazy to start with, which was awesome. Had me completely into it. It was great chemistry between the two pros doing the best thing that they know how to do, and that's draw everybody in and have a great match. I love when Pac goes up to the top. He always acts like his balance is a little shaky, and it takes such fine precision. It's a really like a selling of that and the danger of his high risk move that puts it over so big. So the match went to a time limit draw. The fans were pissed. Mox gives the paradigm shift DDT to the referee, and then just stands in the camera, basically telling them time limit draw. That's bullshit. Blah blah. So it was great way to end the show. Keeps me wanting more. Can't wait for that tag title match next week. We still got the AEW Dark show next Tuesday that'll come out. I'm sure they'll be pushing more matches and things like that. They are really hitting a home run with this show. I honestly feel that way. It's great to watch. I love it. The mixture of the new teams, the guys have always been stepping up so far. They've been doing a great job. Limited commercials. They do have the picture in picture while it's going on. Commentary is on point. Excalibur is really finding his stride in that role, and JR is taking over. I think some of the critiques of JR have really fired him up, and he has really kind of taken over the broadcast. Very little Tony Schiavone last night and a lot of JR, so which is a good thing. Tony Schiavone can also hang too, so his time will come. So, like I said, I watched NXT this morning. The first thing I want to say to everybody is do not watch it on the USA app. There are 48 commercials throughout this show. It's brutal. It takes every bit of the 2 hours just to watch it. And it really ruined a lot of the enjoyment that I had for what I was seeing. The very first match is Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. What a tie-up to start the match. It was absolutely fantastic. Morrow had the line of the night that says these two girls get along like dogs and vacuums. It just stuck out in my head. It's such a great line. Morrow's awesome at his job. Every spot they did, it was tit for tat. You do this, I do that. You do this, I do that. As we head into the finish, they did the double hair face bump where they spin around and smash the face into the ground. I've never understood the spot. It's super weird to me. But they had a couple great falsies there at the end, false finishes, and then Io Shirai comes down, gets involved. Candice comes down, pulls her off the apron. There's a decent amount of distraction there. Rhea Ripley gets the win. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, they're both rising to the occasion. They're doing a great job. They stand out. They play their characters well. You know what they're both all about from the moment that they walk through the curtain, which is what you're looking for. Next match, Matt Riddle against Cameron Grimes. Both men are known to start their matches fast. That's what we've seen of Grimes and Riddle. So they both try for a fast start, try to get it over real quick. They both miss. Then they start going into a pretty awesome story throughout the whole way. The commentary is selling it. Matt Riddle gets the win. After the match, Tyler Bate is at ringside. Cameron Grimes is pissed, starts jaw-jacking with him, gets a little physical. He turns around, then he gets that left hand to the face from Tyler Bate. So it looks like they're going to head that way with Tyler Bate and Cameron Grimes, which would be fantastic. Riddle continues his rise up the card and delivers with everything he does. Breezango and Isaiah Scott versus the Forgotten Sons. This was just a showcase for all the guys. It was good. They did their thing. I think Isaiah Scott, Swerve, is going to be a big star throughout the division. He just needs his time, needs to find himself, and we need to find out a little bit more about him. Some of these features that they do really help to get you connected with some of these guys, and he would be the benefit of one of those kind of documentary style things. And the Forgotten Sons, this gimmick is kind of all over the place. I don't really know what it's supposed to really be, other than it was three guys who were all a part of something else and then got left behind, and now they're pissed about it. So it needs a little more meat on the bones, but as far as delivering in the ring, they deliver. And Breezango is their normal, funny self. I enjoy watching Breezango do what they do. So for everybody that doesn't necessarily like it, I dig it. So I don't know how those guys are going to do on the main roster, but or even if a call up is coming, I don't even know. So Isaiah Scott and Breezango get the win. After the match, Scott and Breezango kind of celebrate, and then Leo Rush, who was out there doing commentary, stands up, and they kind of go back and forth a little bit. No, sorry. Leo Rush comes out after that match, excuse me, and he is doing commentary for the Angel Garza Jack Gallagher match, which is up next. The match was good, back and forth. Gallagher is such a good hand; he makes everybody look awesome. Never seen him have a bad match. Garza does all of his like cool shit. His finish is called the Cerro de la Silla Salt, which is named after the highest mountain in his hometown of Monterey. And then he gets the win there. Then he stands up, gets on the ropes, makes a motion for the belt, and then points at Leo Rush, and that's where it seems to be going, that we're going to have that match. Next was the number one contenders for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. We have Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai versus two of the MMA horsewomen, Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke. I am not a huge fan of the MMA horsewomen. I think that they haven't clicked for me. So I was already rooting for Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox to kick some ass in this match. It wasn't too long of a match, and then we got our number one contenders at Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox. And then the Kabuki Warriors kind of show up and they laugh and they taunt them. And then next week we're going to get that tag match, which is pretty sweet that they're going to use those belts in the best way that they can and get them on TV. If they can't get it on Raw, can't get it on SmackDown, get it on NXT. Kind of seems like the theme here. It's a third brand that they're treating really well. In this main event that went up is Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic and Roderick Strong. Now keep in mind this match went head to head with Moxley and Pac, so they had to deliver, and they did. The match was awesome. Roddy Strong is so good. Feeds himself into the monsters, makes himself look awesome. The monsters, Dijakovic and Lee, deliver with like crisp offense, big moves, kickouts when you don't expect it. They're able to sell for Roddy. He's the champion, and he still gets his stuff in. It was just a great match. The fans are dueling chants back and forth with "This is awesome" and NXT and everything you could want out of a main event angle. You had this year. Roddy Strong hit an Olympic slam on Keith Lee, which was a huge pop for me. I love that. Lee and Dijakovic kind of like looked at each other in the ring, and then after Lee hit this huge pounce and the fans were going crazy, and it was a cool moment to see those two like kind of like square up and then just start going at each other. Big strikes. There was a headbutt in there. But the finish was kind of crazy. It was Keith Lee kind of blocks a Hurricane Rana with like a big sit down power bomb from the top, and then Roderick Strong immediately hits a flying boot right to Keith Lee's face, and Roderick Strong gets the win there. And then after the match, we have a square up. We got the Undisputed Era out there. Then we got Gargano and Ciampa. Look like they're going to have a big fight. Boom. We get that chant, or get that music kicking off, and it's Finn Balor. Finn Balor makes his way to the ring. Now we got Undisputed Era against the three NXT stalwarts of Gargano, Ciampa, and Balor. And then boom, Balor hits an overhead kick right to the face of Gargano, shocking him. Tommaso's wondering what the hell's going on. Undisputed Era starts beating the shit out of Tommaso, and Balor just kind of stands there, watches it. And then just keeps staring down at Gargano. He has an angry look on his face. Then his music hits, and then the show goes off the air. So after 48 commercials, I was ready for the show to be over. The storylines are fantastic. I mean, they're really doing a great job with bringing people along, showcasing their talents. It just doesn't have the same live show feel as the AEW show. So if you're looking for a difference between the two, you're looking for some comparison, it's the size of the arena, the unpredictability that AEW is bringing to the table. But as far as the quality of the show goes, both shows are quality. Both shows are worth investing your time in, and both shows are delivering, which is not something we were able to say to Raw and Nitro. There were times back in the day where one wasn't just a completely awful show, terrible show, and right now we're not getting that. We're getting kick-ass shows, one after the other. So, that's it. I really appreciate everybody listening today. That's my Raw recap. That's my kind of evaluation of everything that I saw, everything that's going on. this episode, I've been super babyface. I put everything over about as good as I can. I haven't shit on anybody, but pretty soon that's probably going to start happening when I start seeing some of this other stuff and we start getting picky. But for now, I am happy with what I'm seeing. I am enjoying the shows. I'm enjoying my Wednesday night appointment viewing for professional wrestling. And I'll be back with a SmackDown review so we can talk about Friday Night SmackDown Live. And next week, we will start getting into adding a little bit more production quality to this and getting the podcast up there live. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for putting any kind of value you put in my opinion. I hope not to let you guys down, and I hope that you're entertained. We hit the 20-minute mark, so let me get out of here because short podcasts kick ass and long ones suck. It's absolutely positively been your pleasure. Now, peace.